if we want to make our input react differently so it works for something that is a kind of a karting race game or a virtual reality experience, we need to understand one thing. Okay, so we have the player selected. We have three arrows coming out of the player, as we can see here in the scene window. We have one arrow that goes to the right, the red one, which is the horizontal axis, another one that goes vertically, which is the vertical axis, and another one that goes into the depth axis, okay, which is this blue arrow here. So if we want to make a player to move into that direction like it was a car, we need to get this arrow here. We need to get this vector. So to do this, we're going to work with the up key. So we're going to type here if input dot get key, and as a parameter we're going to pass up. Then we're going to change the position of the player here. Okay, so initially we can type here transform dot position plus equals vector3 dot forward multiplied by speed multiplied by time dot delta time. So if we save this and we wait for the compilation to be complete, and if we press the play button, okay, we can still move to the left, to the right, we can still press space to jump, but if you press the up key, then the player is moving forward. Okay, this is great. Now if we go back here, okay, into the game, we want to make the player to use the right and the left keys for rotation. Okay, so we need to determine the rotation speed. So we're going to remove this logic that we wrote to move to the left and to the right to replace it for something else. Okay, so we're going to type here public float rotating speed. Let's set that to be like 40F. Okay, and when we press the right key, we're going to type here transform dot position, and then we're going to type actually transform dot rotate around. This is going to be a method call. Okay, we access the transform component and we call the rotate around method, so as the name suggests, we rotate it around somewhere. Okay, so we need to pass three parameters here: the point to be considered for the rotation, the axis, and the angle. Okay, so the point is going to be the exact place where the player is standing, and we can get this by typing transform dot position. The second value is the axis that is going to be used for rotating the player around. So what we want to do is rotate the player like I'm going to show you right now. It's going to rotate like this, okay, to the left and to the right. And if you look at the inspector in the transform component, notice that the only value that changes is the vertical one. So we are rotating around the vertical axis. And to do this, we type vector3 dot up. And the third parameter is the angle. Okay, how much is going to be rotated? As we are in the update method, we're going to type rotating speed multiplied by time to delta time, for the same reason we do the delta time trick in the horizontal movement. Okay, so if we save this and go back to Unity and wait for this compilation to be complete, we're going to press the play button one more time. So we have our player here, we move left, but if we press the right key, then the player is rotating to the right. Okay, we do the same thing for the left button. We type transform dot rotate around. The parameters are going to be transform dot position, vector3 dot up, and this time, instead of just typing rotating speed multiplied by time dot delta time, we're going to type minus rotating speed multiplied by time dot delta time. Okay, and finish this line here. So now with these two instructions, with these two modifications, we can already make our player move to the left and to the right. Okay, and after this is complete, we would expect the player, well, to follow the direction that we are moving. But if we press up, the player is still moving forward until it falls completely, and well, we can't access the player anymore. So what do we need to do? We need to get the forward vector of the player. Okay, so you might have thought in the beginning that this would work out of the box, but the thing is, here when we get key up, we type transform.position plus equals vector3.forward. Vector3.forward is a constant. It's always going to be 0 on x, 0 on y, and 1 on z. So this doesn't change even if the player rotates to different positions. Okay, this is a constant. So we would have to implement some complex mathematics here, or we can just get the player's angle and then perform some trigonometry, but there is a very easy way to do this. Instead of typing vector3.forward, we can just type transform.forward. So Unity makes our lives much easier by doing this. Okay, we access the transform component, we type dot, and we get forward. Okay, so as you see in the summary, this is the blue axis of the transform in the world space. So this is going to change if you rotate to whatever position you want. If you rotate to the left, the forward is going to rotate accordingly. And remember, this is a direction. Even though it's a vector 3, it still works as an arrow that is pointing somewhere. It's the same way. Okay, the size is 1. Okay, if you multiply it by speed, you're going to scale in the direction that you're looking. And if you keep pressing up, the player is going to keep moving. So if we save this and go to Unity and wait for this compilation to complete, we're going to press the play button. We have our player falling here. We can rotate around, and this time if we press the up button, then the cube is falling to whatever direction we are looking at. Okay, so we can increase this rotating speed to 90, I think. Yeah, much better. So we can make the cube move like this. Okay, even more, maybe 140. Yes, this is good. Okay, so we have a cube that is moving at different speeds. We can rotate it around, and this is a very interesting concept if you want to make virtual reality games. Okay, you're going to see that this is going to help you a lot. You pretty much use this on nearly all virtual reality games. Okay, let's just save this value here. And now that we have this, let's say we want to use multiple cameras for this game, okay, or multiple rendering modes, because right now it's a bit difficult to follow this player. So what we can do is to just get this camera and move it up a little bit. Okay, maybe rotate it down a few degrees. Okay, so it looks like this. It's probably better to see the player. But what if you want to change different cameras in the game? What if you want to cycle in different cameras in here? We're going to use the mouse button for this. We're going to listen if we are pressing the mouse button, and if we're doing this, we're going to rotate among all the available cameras. So we're going to do this in the next video.